This is The Shifting Powers, created by Danielle, Ayana, and Carolyn.
Narrated by Liliana and Tara.
The Mongol Empire. The summary of the Mongol Empire. They emerged like a new branch of an empire family tree, born from two great ruling groups. They were powerful and a nomadic group in Central Asia. Here are the lands that Babur, Akbar, and Aurangzeb have conquered.
Babur, a Timurid prince, ruled the southeastern region of the former empire when he began to expand his territory into South Asia. A descendant of Genghis Khan and the original ruler of the Timurid Empire, ruled from the city of Fernaga in Uzbekistan from the time he was a child. As he reached his teenager, he grew jealous of... Actually, never mind.
Here is Babur.
He seems to be reading a book.
The reign of Akbar. He was one of the very few rulers who were able to reunite India under his rule. During the movement for independence from British colonialism, Indian nationalists pointed to the reign of Akbar as a legacy of India unity that British governments had devastated.
And here is a picture of what seems to be Indian text over the movement of many Indians with their elephants and horses. Jahangir. Following Akbar's death in 1605, his son Jahangir came to power in the Mughal Empire. Jahangir ruled from 1605 to 1628 and largely followed in the steps of his father's great accomplishments without adding much of his own. Jahangir was equally curious of religious diversity and spirituality.
Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan, even though he was Jahangir's third son, he asserted his authority and military instincts early in life in order to claim the rule of the empire when his father died in 1628. Aurangzeb's ascension to the throne was much more contentious and violent. In 1657, he imprisoned his father, Shah Jahan, in Agra Fort and claimed authority over the empire. When his official rule began in 1658, he instituted stricter religious regulations than the great empires before him.
Humayun. Sorry. Humayun did not have the military or ruling prowess of his father. Humayun's rule lasted from 1530 to 1556. However, he spent 16 of these ruling years in exile during Iran. Humayun was banished to Iran by Shir Jahan Suri
And here is a picture of
him.
Him. Shah Suri. He was an exceptional military leader during the time of Babur, who became governor of Bihar under Humayun. Even though he was a descendant of the Mongols, the Mughal Empire credited him for many of the civilizational advancements during the time of his rule. And here is a picture
A
of
sketch of him.
the Portuguese.
The Portuguese were the first to establish trade routes from India to the rest of the world by sea. They instituted processes through which they could guarantee their success and control of key Indian sports, such as Gardaza system, which was similar to a permit system that required all trade ships and goods go through the Portuguese.
And here is a picture of the Portuguese title.
Tile.
Oh, it's tile. Sorry.
Told you.
As the Portuguese declined, the Dutch East India Company rose to replace it. During this time, the Dutch commanded almost all of the southeastern coast of India, known as the Coromandel Coast, giving them direct access to trade with Southeast Asia. And here's the Dutch West Company.
Though the British did not establish themselves as early as the Portuguese and the Dutch, they made several key decisions which established their legitimacy on the subcontinent. Since the Portuguese had been operating the closed private trade ports of Dio from 1535, the British moved to the competing city of Surat, where the Dutch and the other traders from around the world already were. In 1600, Queen Elizabeth I chartered the East Indian Company, or EIC, as a joint stock company.
And here is a picture of what seems to be a warfare. The East India Company. It was a Jacques joint company. The charter was risky and innovative compared to the business enterprises of the past because it created a company with very little liability. Here's a picture of the East India Company,
which is possibly the main building. Battle of Paisley, Part 1. Battle of Paisley. As the British continued expanding their trade operations, they sometimes mixed in local politics. From the huge profits they made, the EIC would lend money to the Nawabs and other powerful local elites. This created a culture whereby, that has nothing to do with it. In the 1750s, Sirdarja took over the ruling Nawab in Bengal. And he felt threatened by the growing British influence of power in the region. Sirdarja had seen British thrive out of other European trade companies and used their military and consistently asserted authority when local leaders did not let them conduct business as they wanted. Sirdarja wanted to assert his power and willingness to bend to EIC desires early on in his time as Nawab in Bengal. Fortunately, Sirdarja was not the friendliest man and did not have many allies among the circle of Indian elite and business persons in Bengal whom would depend on a conflict in the British. Regardless,
this is the timeline from 1526 to 1765.
Goodbye.
This is the works cited that Danielle and the others have used.
More pictures.
More links, actually. And here are some extra photos. These are spiced This is spices. This is the British and the Indian flags combined.